And both sides of your better side. We're recording. We're good. We're good. I'm gonna go live here. There we go. Good to go. Good to go. We are live. We are live. You're live, good brother. Rob. We're live there and we're recording here.
Okay, good.
You know, technology is crazy. We're going. We're going. So again, as I said 100 times, man, I appreciate you for having me and sacrificing some time to educate me and educate anybody who cares to be a homeowner. And
Absolutely.
You've been a loan officer for a while now, for many years. So
20 years. 20 years. I'm in my 20th year. Yeah.
Wow.
Seen a lot.
I don't believe it. It's hard. From your experience and from the way that you handle business, I can tell through that. But just, you know, you don't seem like you've been in business for 20 years at all.
Well, I'm starting to show it.
It doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. But tell me a little bit about yourself and what got you into this industry, and yeah, let's go from there.
Yeah. Well, I'm a numbers guy.
Numbers guy.
Accounting was my background from Quinnipiac, accounting, finance, and I went to a family business after that and learned a lot how to deal with people, emotions. That was a good learning experience for me.
Okay.
Making customers happy.
Right.
And then I fell into the mortgage business in 2004 with a friend of mine. He owned a company, and I liked it. I was still working with numbers, still working with tax returns, still, to some degree.
Right.
And I loved it ever since. Of course, love, hate at times, but
that's everything, right?
There's ups and downs. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's everything.
But yeah, so I learned a lot. Especially over 20 years. Seeing all kinds of different scenarios.
Yeah.
The main thing, how I stay busy, is with my patients.
Okay.
You're talking to majority. My clients are first-time home buyers.
Right.
I do a lot of hand holding, explaining things over multiple times, and just being patient.
Yeah.
Because especially first-time home buyers, this is new terminology. A lot of stuff you might not know. So you explain things slowly. More than once. And if they're not qualified now, what do they need to do to get qualified? What steps do I need to take now?
Right. Yeah. So it's good that you say that, because when I'm speaking, I'm a newer agent. I've been in the business for a couple of years, and that's not new, but at the same time, like you said, you've been in it for 20 years. So the experience that you get over time is, second to none, and that's everything. So one of the things that I've been learning is it's wise for somebody who's interested into buying, for them to speak to a loan officer ahead of time, even before they know if they're ready or not.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit why it's wise for them to start the process, before they're ready to start the process.
Yeah. And most of the times clients I talk to, well, I didn't want to reach out, working on my credit,
Yep.
That's okay. But I can help you with that as well.
Yeah.
I know a lot of tips and little tricks to improve your scores, and what do I pay off, what I don't pay off. I can get you there a little faster. It's all free services that we offer. It's always good to start at least 6 to 8 months out, or even longer. Know your buying power. Know what you have to do with your credit, if anything. What increases your buying power? Maybe a small credit card, or maybe paying off this will boost my buying power. Because when you pay off some debt, it can really help with buying power.
Your debt to income ratio.
Yes,
right?
Yes. More so than putting more down on the mortgage. So, just knowing that, so I get clients on a game plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your income. Here's your buying power now. Rates are high, values are high, but here's your buying power now. Any possible co-signers we can add, co-borrowers if need be.
Right.
But at least what steps to take now and be prepared.
Right. So with first-time home buyers, the main thing is not really the main thing, but one of the most important things is what are they qualified for? So I know that the two main programs that people go to is FHA and conventional.
Mhm.
What's the difference between the two?
Generally, so they're both, if you want, a 30-year fix.
Okay.
FHA is generally for lower credit scores.
Hmm.
It's 3.5% down the purchase price.
Okay.
And then conventional, generally, higher credit scores to get an approval with a small down payment. There's differences in the mortgage insurance. So FHA has mortgage insurance, and mortgage insurance is when you're not putting 20% down on the mortgage, you have this additional monthly payment that protects the bank, doesn't protect you.
It's called PMI, right?
PMI on the conventional side, yep. Same thing on, same principle on FHA.
Hmm.
But it protects a bank in case you, as a homeowner or borrower, defaults.
Yeah.
On FHA, the payment never goes away until you refinance.
Right. Right.
Conventional, the payment will eventually drop off as your loan balance reaches 22% of what you bought it for. But in this market, people say, "Oh, I have to get FHA. My credit score is a little bit lower. I really don't want FHA." But you can refinance down the road into a lower rate. So it's not, even though the mortgage insurance is for life, it's okay. You'll be able to refinance, get your scores up.
Why wouldn't somebody want an FHA
Because
versus conventional?
Yeah, great question. So when you go to make your offer on the appraisals,
Yep.
Appraisals are different for FHA conventional. On the appraisal side, the appraiser has to make sure there's no chipping paint, broken steps. They kind of nitpick a little bit.
So there's more stipulations when it comes to you getting your house appraised versus if you're getting an FHA loan or a conventional loan.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And as a seller, they're getting a pre-approval for FHA conventional. Well, I know conventional, the appraiser's not going to nitpick.
Right.
And I'm selling it as is. I went out, and generally that makes your offer stronger.
So you're stronger with conventional just off of the stipulations that's going to happen during the appraisal process.
Yeah, especially
it
in this
makes
market.
You look stronger.
Yeah, especially in this market because
it's right now it's a seller's market.
That's right.
And that typically means that you have more space to make the negotiations as a seller versus the buyer. There's not enough inventory for the buyers to make any concessions or anything like that. So right now it's strictly a seller's market because they're running whatever the negotiations are. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yep, supply and demand. Not enough supply.
So you also said even if you do get an FHA, which the stipulations are a little bit more strict, you can refinance.
Yes.
So tell me a bit about refinance. What's that?
And generally, once you have a mortgage, at what point do you refinance? Generally, you want your new rate to be at least 1% lower than your current rate for it to make sense, because you have another set of closing costs again. By the way, we are all our clients who bought with us, when the time comes, hopefully at the end of this year or into next year when people are refinancing, we're going to be giving free refinances. Basically, we're waiving our fees. You'll still have attorney fees and title fees and all that, but
of course.
we're making that a little easier. Now, when you refinance, all your costs are put into the mortgage. You're not paying out of pocket. You're paying for appraisal again, but you're not paying out of pocket. Those costs are put into your new loan. But if we can waive some of our fees, of course, you're not paying interest on that over time, and you're saving money in that regard.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit because I'm doing these interviews mainly to explain these topics, so everybody can understand. So I don't want to breeze over anything, I want to be able to explain this to a third grader.
That's right.
So when it comes to refinancing, like what you were just talking about, why do we refinance out of FHA? Like, what's happening when you do a refinance?
Yes, couple of things. Well, you're gonna lower your monthly payment.
Okay.
Lowering your monthly payment means you're gonna pay less interest over time than you would with the higher rate.
Okay.
And you want to go in conventional because of that mortgage insurance factor. So, if you don't have that 20% equity yet, you're still going to pay mortgage insurance. So with conventional, that monthly payment will eventually fall off automatically. So that's a plus. So you want to, if you're FHA now, post closing, I'm still going to help you. I don't go away. I'm your mortgage guy for life. I'll give you more guidance as far as getting your scores up. Although by the time you close any mortgage, you're going to be a pro on what to do with your credit.
Right.
You're going to get your scores up, and when it's time to refinance, you're going to be ready to go into conventional.
Yeah.
Save some money.
Yeah.
Eventually, that additional monthly payment of mortgage insurance falls off.
Yeah.
And now you're really
there. You go.
You're living comfortably with a fixed payment for
So
25 years.
If I'm hearing you right, after a little bit of time, after you're in the house, once you get it with the FHA mortgage, and you get your credit up a bit, then it's wise for you to refinance into a conventional. So your monthly payments will be lower just because your credit is a bit higher for one, and for two, the PMI would drop off after you have 20% of equity into the house, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if your scores aren't up at that time and rates are still lower, it's still benefit to refinance, even to FHA.
Right.
You're still going to pay because ultimately you want to pay less interest over time.
Right.
And one of the things I do is make sure that refinance is worth it. So you have your closing costs. I look at how much interest you have left to pay in your current mortgage versus the new, and what's that difference? Okay, that makes sense. I'm saving tens of thousands of dollars over time. My payment's a little bit lower, and I'm saving long term for my family. So but you gotta make sure it makes sense. So we do that scenario first before we pull credit and run the numbers.
Okay, that makes sense. So obviously you're being an asset to these people as far as looking at their numbers and see what makes sense to them. So even before getting the pre-approval, when you're speaking to these clients, you're telling them about different programs, because there's so many different programs that a first-time home buyer can have. I know of different CHFAs and time to owns. Do you offer any different programs for first-time?
Absolutely.
So
many people have heard of CHFA, CHA.org. Their rates and programs are posted on their website. Now, they offer all the programs that we offer. So FHA, conventional, VA, USDA, which is rural properties up in like Litchfield County, up that way. They offer all the programs that we do, but at a discounted rate. So under their umbrella, you're a first-time home buyer, you get a lower rate, typically 1% lower than national average. So generally, when I have a first-time home buyer that I'm talking to is I'm looking at CHFA because one, the rates are the best you can get. Huge factor is if you have a lower credit score, you get the same low interest rate posted online as if you had an 800 score.
Right.
So it's huge.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You go to a bank, you get penalized for having a lower credit score. What closing costs. So that's a huge factor.
So somebody with a low credit score is still in the same position as somebody with a higher credit score when they are qualified for the CHFA.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Because
just like you said in the beginning, majority of the people that we're talking to, they're like, oh, I wanted to wait to get my credit up or do this or that. That's again why it's wise for them to speak to you ahead of time and just start the conversation, start the process, right?
And I'll touch on waiting versus I get that a lot.
Well, speak on it now. Well, tell me a little bit on why it's doing yourself a disservice to wait.
Some clients, you might have to wait because rates, the payment just doesn't, or the buying power isn't there because of the rates. But people who are qualified and they say to me, Rob, I'm gonna wait for rates to come down, and then I like the payment more. Well, here's a problem. So on any house that goes for sale, you have 20 plus offers on one house
all the time,
just
especially
now,
right
high
now.
Rates,
right?
The high rates. So as rates come down, well, guess what? Now there's more buyers coming back into the market. So for me, rates come down, it's worse because now, I'm trying to get my buyers into a house with even more competing offers, which is going to increase values more. So if you wait a year and rates come down, let's say they come down 1%, and the value goes up another 10, 15,000, you're actually paying more interest over time, the higher price point in the lower rate. So,
wow, yeah,
and you lost out on all the appreciation in 1 year. So,
yeah, because the house is more valuable now. So when you buy it, it's more expensive.
if you wait, yeah,
If you
if you wait,
Well, yeah, in that scenario,
Yeah.
if you waited
Yeah.
versus buying it when
Yeah.
you have the chance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you miss out on all the appreciation,
Mhm.
equity build up,
Hmm.
and you're paying more over time. So get in the house now. You'll be able to refinance as quickly as 6 months, but you know, hopefully next year, could be in it this year, but you'll be able to refinance. So you say next year you refinance, your payment's lower, you built equity. It's a
Right.
win-win. So
Yeah.
I tell clients, if you're ready now, you can manage the payment for next year or 2 years, get in there now.
Yeah. I always
And
tell everybody, as soon as you're financially stable and ready to, afford it, then that's the best time for
yeah,
you to do it, regardless of how the market looks.
that's great
It,
advice.
it, it comes down to you and what you're able to do.
I agree.
Yeah. So, speaking of offers, it's a competitive market, like you're saying, it's a seller's market. So I'm telling a bunch of people about different strategies and tactics we could take as far as using an appraisal gap and as using escalation clause. Tell me, how do you feel when you hear the agents making these offers with these different tactics and it just for us to be stronger? Do you think it's wise for us to do that? Does it hurt the offer at all? Or
It doesn't hurt your offer, but it makes it helps. You got to do pretty much. You got to think outside the box these
yep,
days.
yep,
Um, so I see that very often on contracts, and it does help, does work. Um, if the buyer has the funds for that gap.
yep.
So, for instance, if you're getting chaff or time to own grant,
Hmm.
if the appraisal comes in lower than the
Hmm.
purchase price, they will not fund the loan for that additional unless the buyer has their own funds for that. So
Right.
if the buyer has the funds available for that,
Hmm.
and for instance, if they're getting time to own,
Hmm.
which is the grant, um, it's a win-win. And now you can use those funds. You still have money for down payment, closing costs from the grant, and you have funds for the appraisal gap to win the deal.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's
it's
awesome.
creative, and agents, if you're working with a good agent like Keller Williams,
I just won a deal recently, yesterday, because of the number that we use for the appraisal gap. So I'm telling everybody that I'm working with, you
Yeah.
have to be strategic.
yeah,
Like you can't come with a normal offer. You have to be strategic in some type of way or creative, and
yeah,
you need to do it. And
Yeah.
even with the escalations, sometimes it's hard, but if you do have the liquid money, you need to show these sellers that you're strong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it comes down to it, that's a strong way for you to get an offer accepted,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Escalation
Absolutely.
clauses.
yeah,
Okay. So first time home buyers, I want to target them a little bit more.
Mhm.
So, you having so much experience and you seeing a bunch of offers get accepted and you being a homeowner, give me a little bit of advice for first time home buyers as far as why is it wiser to be an owner versus a renter? Maybe taxes or what
Yeah.
is the first couple of things that come to your mind?
Well, many reasons. One, a rent. A rent is like an adjustable rate mortgage,
Right, right. Yeah.
and no stability. And it's just you see the rents out there just going up and up and up.
Up and up. The
Lot-
rents are more than a mortgage in most cases nowadays. And I'm trying to convert my clients who are trying to rent
yes,
to tell them to understand, like, look, if you're able to pay this amount of money, you're able to afford a mortgage.
right,
You
right,
know?
right. In most cases,
In most cases.
or you just make it happen.
Right,
as,
right.
But yeah, main reason, fixed payment.
Mhm.
Now you know where that payment's going to be now, and then it's only going to go down
Right.
because you're going to refinance. So mortgages your payment can go down, rents are going up, and you want to build stability in your life in your payment, have your own place, take care of your own place. It's just, getting outside just the payment and all that, just for stability in your life, and have your own quietness in your own quiet place,
right,
but,
right.
And then, the tax benefits and all that, the appreciation. So, you're building equity. For instance, I got my house, 2015. Of course, the last couple of years, significant amount of equity.
Right.
But you can then tap into that equity
Mm-hmm.
and look into getting investment properties, or I strongly suggest getting, like, maybe, an investment property. Don't use it like a credit card
For leisure. Yeah, definitely don't do that.
No, don't do that.
And when you're going to get a house and you get accepted offer, don't start doing different things like buying furniture or anything like that. You gotta wait a certain amount of time, right?
Yes, don't do any credit pulls during home buying process.
Right. Yeah, no, that's separate.
I know you're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do it. Talk to me. Right at the closing, go to Raymore or wherever don't get the car either.
Don't get a car. Don't buy anything when you're in the process of buying a house. Don't buy anything else until you're closed and in the house, and even a little bit after, right?
I mean, you could wait if you're super cautious. You can wait a little, a week after. But no car unless the car has a shower and TV and living room. Then you get the car. But
right. Okay. So I think you've given us a bunch of knowledge, and I don't want to rattle anybody's brains. So
and we're always here to reach out. Every individual is different. Every scenario or what somebody's currently dealing with or is different. So for the unique questions, just reach out.
Reach out to us, and we're available.
Yeah.
So before we leave, is there anything else that you could recommend to, somebody looking into buying a house? Is it just, get in touch with you ahead of time if you're ready or not? Or is there anything else that you would tell somebody looking forward to buying soon?
Yeah, I mean, there's some free programs where you can do like a home buyer class and stuff like that. I mean, it's all common sense stuff.
Yeah.
But you might get a little bit of, little something that you could use. So there's free, like BNT in Bridgeport. It's all free. They have a landlord class if you want to get into like investing. That's a really good one, and it's free. I would suggest doing that if you're looking into getting the multifamily realm. A lot of good advice, do's and don'ts, from managing it and all that. Those are good. But other than that, I mean, just really, reach out to me. It doesn't matter when you're looking. There's no cost to talk to me or anything like that, or there's no consultation costs or anything like that. I'm easy to talk to and reach out to. So
I'll definitely list your information.
And happy to do so.
Yeah, I'll list your information. But if there's anything that you want to say as far as your email or do you have a website or anything that they could go to?
I do.
I could put that all in there.
Yeah, it just updated in it. So it's loanbyrobert.com.
Loan by Robert. Okay.
And sometimes I just switch over to a new host.
Yeah. We with the MLS. I'm still learning the new one now, but yeah.
Or you can just simply text me. I'm a text guy. So 203-530-2674. Go to the lights.
Yeah. I think we're still lit up. We're good. We're good.
Awesome.
That's awesome. I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
And let's get some loans going. Let's get some closings going.
Let's
get that education out there, man. I appreciate you.
Likewise.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.